We're going to cover Cesar Martinez Jr.'s speeding tickets from his very first ticket up until 2013 for a total of 6. I'm sure if you were to run his driver's history to date, you would find more speeding violations. Let's start with his address. This is not Cesar's correct address, Times Square, Harlingen. This is his sister's boyfriend, now husband's address. His actual address, Briggs Coleman, Harlingen. Why would he have this address on his provisional driver's license? Did he give it falsely? He pleads not guilty on both his plead forms, one for each violation, dated February 17, 2009, only to later plead no contest to the speeding part of it. His first speeding ticket was issued in January of 2009, his second June of 2009, and his third should have been October 2nd, 2009, along with reckless driving and 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter. January 20th, 2009, 4:53 p.m. Cesar Martinez Jr. receives his first speeding ticket from a Department of Public Safety officer. At that time, he held a provisional driver's license. Stipulations of provisional license include certain restrictions, and in this case, those restrictions could have been found on the back of his driver's license. On his first ticket, he was issued 2 violations. Speeding happened to be the second offense. His first offense was a violation of restrictions on his driver's license. Here on the copy of the original speeding ticket, it specifies the restriction as P. You can find these restrictions listed on the Department of Public Safety's website. As you see right here, P is stated on the back of the license. One of the other restrictions mentioned in the 6-page case report summary was P32. It's listed down on the bottom as other. So there was another restriction on his license. This picture is of the back of a driver's license. This is not Cesar's, but is a good example of how they list your restrictions if you have them. Justice of the Peace Sally Gonzalez had a written copy of Cesar's restrictions on one of his court documents. This did not stop her from filing a state motion to dismiss that violation, therefore letting Cesar keep his driver's license with no fear of suspension. This dismissal was justified by the JP's office by stating lack of evidence and also per plea agreement. We see here that there is no lack of evidence. It was more like a lack of common sense on the judge's part. This is how a real judge would have handled that situation. Cesar, were you on your phone? And I'm sure he would have said, no sir. Well, you were ticketed at this time, so you were not in violation of that restriction. That only leaves one. But if Cesar had a lawyer, then his lawyer would have not let him answer those questions. So the judge could have called the officer who had issued the ticket to trial. It's that simple. So why was the Justice of the Peace so lenient on Cesar? Now, as a per plea agreement, really? I don't believe this meets the requirements for dismissal under the law. As a matter of fact, the dismissal was filed 3 months after the first plea was made, on February 17th. Anyhow, this form was submitted by Judge Sally Gonzalez through John Shergold, a temporary assistant prosecutor for the Cameron County District Attorney's Office, to the corrupt scumbag District Attorney Armando Villalobos. And from there, he signed off on it. For a second violation speeding, he was issued a list of penalties to comply with, all of which had a time limit. None of these were fully complied with, but Judge Gonzalez gave him a break again. The first was to pay a fine of $136. This is the only stipulation that was complied with. The second, complete a driving safety course within 60 days and turn the certificate in within 90 days. From 6/17/2009. He completed the defensive driving class online September 15th, 2009. That's far past his 60-day requirements. As for the certificate of completion, he would not have received this for another 7 to 10 days, again surpassing the deadline for completion. Instead, he turns these documents into the court, and again they're accepted. Third, be examined by the DPS. I'm going to skip this for now, but we'll get back to it shortly. The fourth, 20 hours of community service. This is an official document signed by Martinez acknowledging that he was responsible for completing these 20 hours. As you see, the certificate of completion is blank. This is what Caesar handed in to the judge, a list of dates and times that anybody could have just jotted down. As you see here on the bottom, it seems to be that some of the hours were fudged to equal that 20 hours. Why wasn't the original court community service agreement filled out? And what's up with the address 3613? Again, in both Caesar's and Junior's sworn deposition, they say that he had to write an essay of 500 words why he should not speed. But there's no proof of that ever happening on this case, unless the JP's office Sally Gonzalez were withholding records from my request.
When we were talking to your dad, he mentioned that you had gotten a speeding ticket. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any other traffic infractions?
No, ma'am.
And the speeding ticket, how fast were you going?
I believe it was 39 on a 30.
And you had to do some community service?
Yes, ma'am.
And you had to pay a fine?
Yes, ma'am, and defensive driving.
When did you take defensive driving?
To tell you the truth, I don't know. I just remember doing it online.
It was one of those online courses?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the only time you've taken defensive driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Your dad mentioned that when you got the speeding ticket, do you recall when you got that speeding ticket?
No, sir.
But it would have occurred before the collision, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that would have been a ticket, you received a ticket from the Department of Public Safety, from the trooper?
Yes, sir.
I understand that you testified you took defensive driving?
Defensive driving, community service, and I had to write an essay.
Right. I think that's what your dad was trying to say, that you had to write a 5-page essay. What was the topic of the essay?
Why I should adhere to speed limit.
5 pages?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you, in terms of the community service that you took, can you describe to us what you were asked to do?
For community service?
Yes.
I was at Loaves and Fishes, which is like...
I'm sorry, I was...
Loaves and Fishes.
Like a loaf of bread?
Yeah, like Loaves,
Fish.
L-O...
Okay.
Did you get it? Okay. Loaves and Fishes, it's like a place where you serve homeless people and people that really can't afford food. You serve food to them, and it's just like a place for them to eat breakfast and dinner.
And that is in Harlingen?
Correct.
And you would have completed it?
Yes, I completed it.
At any time, has your license been revoked or threatened to be revoked?
No, sir.
Now, after your dad testified that you had, I guess the positions that you play safety and cornerback is
Correct.
what you testified to? And after the collision, did you play the following week?
Luckily, it was an open week, so we didn't have a game. And then we had the next game, and I didn't get to compete in that.
Did you play in the game after that?
Yes, sir.
And the game after that and the rest of the season?
Correct.
The night that you would have been playing, the night that the collision occurred, what opposing team did y'all play?
We played Edinburgh.
Okay. Edinburgh North or Edinburgh?
Bobcats, just Edinburgh.
The
Bobcats.
Just so that I'm...
So that brings us back to the third stipulation, or penalty, whatever you want to call it, being examined by the DPS. If this had actually happened, then they would have found Caesar's second speeding violation in May 2009, and he would have surely lost his driver's license. Although Caesar received the first multi-offense ticket in January 2009, his conviction date was 9 months later, September 16, 2009, the day after he completed his defensive driving course. Just 2 weeks before he was speeding again and killed Samantha and Amy. And within those 9 months, he received another speeding infraction. How did he keep his driver's license through this bullshit? It makes perfect sense why the judge didn't want to release this information to me. This guy's used to his parents getting him out of trouble, and that's exactly what they did the night he killed Samantha and Amy. His parents covered for him again. Now they're pulling that community had bearing on how this case went. And the police just threw it under the bus. They did not do their work. If you're going to be a cop, then be a cop and be behind that badge. Respect that freaking uniform you're wearing. Do your job. I cannot believe they're that ignorant. The only thing they find on Caesar's driver's history is a P32 restriction that's since expired. That's bullshit. They did an extensive background check on both Samantha and Amy, running it through the CCH, DPS records, driving and everything, and all they find on Caesar's is a since expired? None of his speeding history? Yeah, right.
Alright, this is one of the open records request or public information acts through Sally Gonzalez's office to get Cesar Martinez Jr.'s initial speeding ticket. Alright, this is an open records request / public information act. They are similar, but they are different. Now, so a few months apart, even up to 8 months apart, we sent multiple requests, and Sally Gonzalez's office refused to even answer them, which is illegal. They're supposed to answer you within a certain amount of time and either tell you that they can't access the information at this time, but this time they will have it available for you for viewing, or they will send it to the judicial branch saying you can't have it because of this, or that. Either way, they have to reply when you send it, and they never did it on any of these accounts. So I called them back and asked them for the information, and each time they told me it was storage, they couldn't get to it. And I said, well, where's my letter telling me the date or time or whenever I can access it? And they play dumb, as if they don't know the law. In each jurisdiction and each judge has to have trained personnel to deal with public records, and these people were them. So they were just plain dumb and getting on my nerves to the last time I called them, and I videotaped it and audio taped it. So I think you're gonna have to skip, when you see this upcoming video, you can skip to, I think it's around 4 minutes, because you're gonna see me talking on the phone holding the recorder up there, but you're only gonna hear one side of it. But if you skip halfway through it, I'm holding the recorder up towards the camera. But either way, please look at it.
Alright, what I'm gonna record here is me calling Justice of the Peace Sally Gonzalez's office. That's her picture on the screen if you can make it out there in this video. These documents on the table I have here are the 4 requests I previously made and being ignored for viewing public records. This request, well, we'll go over that in the phone conversation if they talk to us. So here we go. Yes, Troy Rainwater, I sent a request to see some records in. I'd like to speak with whomever that it would be to view some public records. I'm guessing it would be the court administrator. Okay, this is like the 4th request that I've sent over there in the 8-month period. So what is the next step on the records to be I mean, they're supposed to be available to the public, and I understand that you can't get to them, but like I said, this is the 4th one in 8 months that I sent over there. So what is the next step? So you just denied to, yeah, that's a denial in my case to, for the public to see those records. But they're in storage, so you know where they are. You understand what I'm saying? There's been no letter back saying, hey, I need some time, there's some storage. I'm just trying to get what's legally accessible to the public. Well, the documents that I sent kind of outline what we requested, so I don't know what's on your screen, brother. Yeah. So basically, I'm not going to see those records anymore. Well, can you give me a time limit when I can access those records, or you can get them available? you ever go to the storage? Is that on a occurrence on like a once-a-month thing? It's frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. You work there at the desk, or you work in the administrative part as the court administrator? And your name is? Gabriel? You got a last name? You don't have a last name. Okay. Thank you, sir. Bye. So, not even this time did they want to talk to us. And here we go.
Yes, Troy Rainwater. I sent a request to see some records, and I'd like to speak with whoever that it would be to view some public records. I'm guessing it would be the court administrator.
Yes, we can receive it. However, those records are in storage and not been able to get to those files.
Okay, this is like the fourth request that I've sent over there in an 8-month period. So what is the next step on the records to be to, I mean, they're supposed to be available to the public, and I understand that you can't get to them, but like I said, this is the fourth one in 8 months that I sent over there. So what is the next step?
I know other next step. I mean, it's just,
So you just denying to, yeah, that's a denial in my case to, for the public to see those records.
it's not being denied. We're unable to act.
But they're in storage, so you know where they are. You understand what I'm saying? There's been no letter back saying, hey, I need some time, there's some storage. I'm just trying to get what's legally accessible to the public.
You're right. I mean, looking for now what's on the screen. I mean, I don't know if that would be sufficient enough for you.
Well, the documents that I sent kind of outline what was requested, so I don't know what's on your screen, buddy.
Right. Then we'd have to pull out the original tape.
Right. So basically, I'm not going to see those records ever.
No, so that's not what I'm saying.
Well, can you give me a time limit when I can access those records, or you can get them available?
Part of the time, I mean, I can't. I mean, until I can. I mean, I can try to get to them as soon as possible. It won't be today.
Well, do you ever go to the storage? Is that on the occurrence on like a once-a-month thing?
Not very often, no.
It's frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. You work there at the desk, or you work in the administrative part as the court administrator? And your name is? Gabriel. You got a last name? You don't have a last name. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Bye.
So no joy there.
Not even this time did they want to talk to us.
Hello, it's Troy.
Mr. Rainwater,
Yes, sir.
this is Gabriel with Judge Gonzalez's office.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was able to locate that file to get all the copies of that for you.
Okay.
Did you want to come by and pick them up, or did you want me to send them to you by mail?
I'll come by and pick them up.
Okay, you can just come into, you know where we're at, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can see, you can ask for me. My name is Gabriel, and then I have those ready for you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, not a problem, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.